For what purpose does the gentleman from Texas seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I have an amendment at the desk.
The clerk will designate the amendment.
Part A, Amendment Number 10, printed in House Report Number 111-578, offered by Mr. Culberson of Texas.
Pursuant to House Resolution 1569, the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Culberson, and a member opposed, each will control 5 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Texas.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Congressional Budget Office just released a report this week which shows that we are on the brink of an unprecedented debt crisis in this nation, which could in of itself trigger a new financial crisis, because if the credit markets become concerned that we as a nation may be overstretched and unable to repay in full the unprecedented national debt that's out there, owned by the public, owned by sovereign wealth funds, the credit markets will turn on us very quickly, as they did in Greece, as they did in Argentina, and in other nations. Moody's has even warned, because of the excessive spending by this president, by this Congress, Moody's has estimated we might, as a nation, lose our AAA bond rating by 2018, perhaps as early as 2013. Constitutional conservatives such as myself have been working hard to find ways to save money, to bring the spending levels under control, to avoid crushing our children under the load of debt, the deficits, the burden that these levels of debt and deficit will impose on our kids will undoubtedly result in massive tax increases, dramatic cuts in social programs, and every chance we get, Mr. Speaker, on every bill, we want to try to do what we can to save money. And so my amendment today would cut the total spending level on this bill by 18%. Remember that this legislation, the Transportation Appropriations bill, received a 23% increase in fiscal year 2010, that the stimulus bill, which I voted against, is all borrowed money. The stimulus bill put $62 billion into transportation. And of that $62 billion, there's still $10 billion unspent, I understand, Mr. Chairman, that Mr. Nagelbauer has got an amendment later to take that $10 billion of unspent transportation money from the stimulus bill and return that to the taxpayers to reduce the deficit. So my amendment is offered today to cut $12 billion out of this transportation bill. I would prefer to send it back to subcommittee, Mr. Chairman, and let Chairman Oliver and my distinguished ranking member have a chance to decide where to cut it. But this is an 18% across-the-board cut, an important step moving back towards a balanced budget. Constitutional conservative majority, if elected to this Congress in November, will, beginning in January, get this nation back on track to a balanced budget by imposing strict spending discipline everywhere we can. This amendment is designed to begin that process.